Hi, my name is Lee, and this is the third video in the series designed to help you build better, more resilient bots for your automation projects. In the first video, I mentioned automation of applications through interface objects is one of the most common approaches used, but it can be tripped up by unanticipated user interface issues. In this video, we're going to discuss how to plan for and prevent user interface issues from tripping up your bot logic. So here is our login bot, which we created in video 2 to log into the Invoicely application. It assumes that I already have a window open to begin the login process, which is not something that's going to happen in a production bot. So obviously I need to build in here a browser open step. So let's add that one across, and there's the URL that I want to open. We'll give that a quick test and let's see how our login bot works. Okay, so we've successfully gotten to the dashboard page here after running, and we see we have our bot success message. But to build in resilience, we need to start to think of all of the scenarios where that process might go wrong. For instance, what if the internet was really badly and it took a long time for that browser to open? Well, we actually do have some resiliency aspects built into these actions here. So notice that it will keep trying for 15 seconds to access this object in order to put in the particular username there. But what if it takes longer than 15 seconds? What if there's a pop-up box that actually says the system will be down for maintenance over the weekend? We'd need to click on that button to clear it. So you need to start to think of all of these things that might go wrong with the UI, which will trip up your bot in a production scenario. So one way I might wait a little bit longer here would be to put in a delay action, and I can drag that across and say let's maybe wait for 10 extra seconds for that browser to open. The problem with that is it's only going to wait 10 seconds and then it's going to try, and if it tries to access again after another 15 seconds with the first step down here, we'll get an unhandled error and our bot will fail. So maybe another way, and also the problem with the delay, it will always wait 10 seconds. So if it actually opens within 2 seconds, we're still wasting another 8 seconds of bot runtime there. So a smarter approach we can use there is the wait for window command. So this is a lot more flexible. If I drag this across and let's say we'll wait 10 seconds for the window to open, and we need to select the particular browser window that we want to open here. There's our login page, which I can select to check for. And now it's going to wait, and as soon as that window's open, it's going to move on rather than continue to wait the full 10 seconds. So that's a much more flexible approach. But what if even after those 10 seconds the window hasn't opened? What can we do then? Well, there's further logic we can build in here, such as using an if statement. So let's drag this across here. And you'll notice that we actually have a variety of if conditions we can use. Where are we? If we come down here to the window, we can actually ensure that the window exists before we then move on and do those steps where we're trying to interact with the user control objects. So what I would do then is move these recorder actions into there, and that will only now execute those if the window did successfully open. So we've built in a lot of resiliency already here. We're going to wait for that window to open and only progress once it's there. We'll do that for a maximum of 10 seconds, and then if the window did exist, we're going to do these things. But if the window doesn't exist, what are we then going to do? Well, we can drag across an else step. And this is where I would build in a command that's going to notify an administrator perhaps that there's an unanticipated problem with the system. Maybe someone in the automation center of excellence. In this case, what I'm going to do is just put in here a message box, and now we'll get a message box telling us that the window did not open. In later videos, I'll talk about reusable components that you can build which can do things like notifications, but for the moment we'll just leave that as a message box. So now our bot is going to be much more resilient, and we're going to get a handled error in the scenario that the window doesn't open there. Another thing to consider is giving your bot a clean slate to work with. So at the end of all of this processing, what I should be doing is logging out of the application that I was working with and closing any application windows. Now you can also add that sort of logic on at the start of your bot so that it actually cleans up just in case there was any windows left over by a previous bot that maybe wasn't designed to clean up after itself, or a bot that maybe failed. So in this scenario, I would want to close Chrome before I kick things off with the Chrome browser. So let's see how we can do that. One approach we can use is the application run or open program file command here, which actually just runs a DOS command to start an executable that I would put into here. Now in the same way, we can use this to run other DOS commands. So if I paste in the task kill command, that's going to kill off any particular application that I'm running, and I just need to put in there the name of the executable that I want to kill off. Now let's actually move these down because they should be correctly into the parameters here. Now this would kill Internet Explorer. What I want to do is kill off Chrome, so let's look in Task Manager what the actual executable is called, and we see it's just called chrome.exe here. So let's replace that by chrome.exe. And now, just before our bot starts off, it's going to clean up any Chrome executables, so we've got a clean slate to work with from the outset. So let's save and run our bot. So as you can see there, Chrome was shut down and then brought back up again once the browser open command executed. Notice, however, that Chrome did detect that previously it had been forced to shut down, so this little pop-up has come up here. It didn't interrupt our bot, but this is a great example of where you could use something like the does window exist or does control exist command and close that dialog. Now, one thing that I'll also touch on here is that with the task kill command being effectively run like this as a DOS command, Automation Anywhere is not aware of what's running at the operating system level once that command has been run. So if it takes a little bit of time for DOS, the operating system, to kill all the Chrome windows in this scenario, it might be still doing that at the time that we execute the browser open command, and that window itself might be shut down. So one thing you might want to do, and this is a great example of when to use the delay command, I've actually inserted here a delay of 5 seconds between running that command to kill the Chrome instances and before running the browser action here to kick off the login screen. That just gives enough time for the DOS command to complete, Chrome to be cleared out before we start a new instance of Chrome. So a great example of the use of the delay, again, to account for any of those user interface elements when doing this sort of automation. So to recap the main points of this video, think about the assumptions you're making with your object-based automation steps and the sort of things that might go wrong, such as slow response times, unexpected pop-ups, and so on. As a further example, my login bot is still assuming I'm not already logged in, which is something I should allow for. Build in logic to allow for these possible problems as you go. Use things like wait for window, if control or window exists, and use delay where appropriate. Ensure your bot cleans up after itself when it's done by logging out and closing apps, and you can even preemptively close any apps before your bot runs. If you're interested in following this series, then subscribe to my YouTube channel and you'll be notified when the next video is available. Thank you for watching.